All right, welcome everyone to today's Redtail Thursday webinar. My name is Haley Mandrup, and I'm one of the subject matter experts here at Redtail. We as trainers are here to help you with how to use the CRM, how to maximize your use of the CRM, and to just help you utilize Redtail in the best way for your office. So this Thursday webinar is focusing on high-level information, where to put that information that doesn't really fit in any predetermined fields within Redtail, but we want it to be accessible readily, either on a contact record or through a report, or just in somewhere that catches the user's attention. So first, we're going to go to a contact record because much of the information we're going to be talking about has to do with a specific contact record when there's just something that we need to be available and noticeable on their record. So first, I'm going to go ahead and use my recently viewed icon over here in the top right-hand corner to access Dolly Parton. She's going to be our contact today. And we're going to look deeply at her contact record because looking at a contact record, there's a lot of information that you're presented with right off the bat. You can see we've got her picture, her name, her spouse, her family, when we are going to meet with her next, when we met with her last. It's a lot of content to take in, and it's all in either this black text or it's a blue text if it's a hyperlink. So nothing really catches your attention right off the bat, and that's good because we don't have anything important on her record just yet. But there is a location right on this main page where we can put important information, and it's going to grab our attention right from the first view of her contact record. And that's this important information icon. Now, right now, the icon doesn't look like anything special, and that's because it's not. There's nothing in there currently. But if I click on the important information icon, we'll see there's nothing in here. And I can edit this window to add some important information. So we'll say Dolly will be beginning her next tour shortly and will be unavailable. So we want to make sure that anyone looking at this record, looking at Miss Dolly Parton, is aware that she's going to be on tour. So we don't want to reach out to her to schedule her next review. We want to respect that she's going to be on the road and is going to be unavailable for appointments. This is a great place to put information about your clients, such as if you service a parent and a child and they have an estranged relationship, so you don't want to ask how the child is doing or how the parent is doing if that's a sore spot with them. That also works for spouse situations. If you have divorced clients, this would be a great place to note to not mention anything about if there's a custody issue with the children or any important information like that. So those are situations that have come up personally as I've worked with Redtail offices. Other information to put in here would include if you have a will on file and you want everyone to know when they access a contact record that there's a will on file for a record, or maybe it's the opposite and you need to get a will on file for some records and you want to notate that there is no will on file. This is a great place to put any of those projects in progress that are very important for anyone contacting this record to know about right off the bat. So when I update that information on the contact record, now every time we go to Dolly Parton's record, there's going to be a red icon grabbing my attention from the first time I go to her record. Everything else, like I mentioned earlier on this page, is either this black text or the blue text, or there's some red here, but there's a big red button that's blaring at me saying, hey, wait, before you contact Dolly, check out the important information and see if there's something in here that might prevent you from contacting her or might change the way that you're communicating with her for some reason. The important information also shows if you scroll down on the contact record and click on important information here. So I can always view it here. I don't always have to click on that little icon, but it is up there so that if I go to her notes page or her email history page, I can always access that important information from all of the other pages. So it's readily available right off the bat, and then it's available on every page as well. And that's a great place to put information that is current, but may not necessarily be permanent. So, hopefully if they have an estranged relationship, that works itself out, and then it won't be applicable in the future. But sometimes there's information that we want to keep on their record that is important, and we want to have it date and time stamped as a note in the system. So sometimes there's those things that you want to notate so that you have that recorded in a compliant manner within Redtail, because all of the notes that are entered in Redtail are date and time stamped and available for future searches. So just by entering a note, we can see Dolly's got quite a few notes here. She's got some workflows completed, some emails sent, and she called in a couple months ago and needed $10,000 for property taxes. Now, if this was an important item that I wanted to be pushed to the top, you do have an option under actions to pin the note. And that's, just supposed to be like a little push pin. So when I click on it, it's going to pin that note at the top and say pinned. By default, the notes all sort in date order. So what this does is it pulls the note out of the date order that all of the notes are listed in and sticks it right to the top so that it's readily available on the notes page. So from her main record, we're looking at Dolly Parton's record. It's not going to show under her latest notes here, and you won't have the option to pin a note under the latest notes on the main page, but it's more for those current projects. Maybe their last client review note can be pinned so that anytime you're accessing their notes section, the last client review notes, all of their projects from the last client review, or any of those tasks that are ongoing for you in your office can be pinned right to the top here. So that it's always accessible. Between the important information and the pinned note, these are both fields that you can enter your own text in. You're taking a note about something specific to that client that usually wouldn't pertain to anybody else. You can track other important items in bulk for multiple clients through the keywords section on their record as well. So we talk a lot about keywords in our other webinars for keeping track of what business services clients subscribe to with your firm, including if they're a 401k participant, or maybe they're a tax client, or maybe they're interested in a golf event. But other important information might include special holidays that may not be part of the mainstream holidays. Maybe they celebrate a holiday like Hanukkah or Cinco de Mayo, and they take it very seriously in their family. You can keep track of that important information because that's what's important to them using a keyword as well. And that's all easily searchable. So when that holiday is approaching, you can cater to those clients that celebrate that holiday specifically using the keyword to search for them and then sending an email from within Redtail to them. So keep in mind that another important place to keep important information would be in the keywords or the user-defined fields. And the user-defined fields is also very versatile. Now, this is a field that you have the ability to define. For the most part, Redtail prides itself in being an out-of-the-box solution. All of the windows are set up the same, every contact record is all the same pages, and it has many fields that are going to be helpful to you, but the user-defined field section is where you add your secret sauce. That's where you get to say, I want to keep track of my client's favorite cookie or how they take their coffee. Or we can keep track of important information in there too, depending on your definition of important, but maybe you want to keep track of their political affiliation or their military service branch that they served in. And these are all fields available within the user-defined fields, or just ideas that you can add. You can add anything that you want to track. You can add their pets' names, if they have a pet trust, what generation they're a part of, or again, depending on your definition of important information, maybe their favorite football team or their favorite baseball team or basketball team, whatever it is, whatever their favorite sport is even. You can keep track of all of that in here. And these are intended to be quick items that you might look at before the client walks in, or maybe if you have a tablet and the client comes in, you can have their client record up on your tablet and really wow them with your quote unquote memory, but the CRM is actually remembering for you what their favorite baseball team is or what their favorite, how they like their coffee. So you can hand them their coffee exactly how they like it and really wow the client when they're in your office, all with information that's kept within the CRM. Keywords and tags, user-defined fields, and again, important information are all accessible right here on the contact's main page. And then the important information will only show red if you've got something in there. If it's empty, it's not going to show red. It's not going to pop up like that. Now, sometimes the important pieces of information that we want to keep track of are the other professional people that the client is working with. So we're their advisor, but they also have an attorney, they might have an accountant, they might have a doctor, or they might have beneficiaries that you want to link them to within the system so that you can search how many of your clients have an attorney in common, or how many of your clients have a CPA in common. So you can do that. You can link your clients to other contacts in the system under Know Your Client on the left-hand menu here, and then under Professional. And there's going to be an option here for Professional Contacts. So we can add a professional contact, and we'll just say that Dolly's got an attorney. And it's going to search, when I type in a first name or a last name, it's going to search people within the system. So I'll attach Rachel Green here as Dolly Parton's attorney and add that professional contact. So now we've got that Dolly is linked to Rachel Green, and we could search everyone that has Rachel Green as an attorney. Maybe we have a lot of clients that have an attorney in common. Now, when we were adding that option, there are system types for attorney, CPA, doctor, insurance, other, and power of attorney. But then there's a little option here that says custom types. And right now I don't have any custom types in this professional section, but we can add custom types. That's a relatively new feature. It just came out a couple weeks ago. Our development team added the ability to add custom profession types. So it is something I definitely wanted to highlight in this webinar, so you all have that ability now. And we will go add a professional type to that list. So to add a professional type, we're going to go behind the scenes to our name in the top right-hand corner, and then to manage your account. Under manage your account, this is an admins only ability. So if you don't have this section for admins only, you're not an admin in your database. And that's not a bad thing. Not everyone should be an admin, but you can contact an admin within your database. Someone in your office has that ability, and they can go in and do this for you. But for you admins, under admins only, you're going to go to Manage Database Lists. And then on the right-hand side, under Contacts, there's a new option for Professions. And when I click on Professions, we can see there's all the system types, and we have the ability to add. My favorite one to add here is beneficiary. Now there is a beneficiary field under accounts in a contact record, but what makes this beneficiary option cool is that it's searchable. So we're going to add beneficiary. And now when we go back to Dolly Parton's record, under recently viewed Dolly, we can go to Know Your Client, Professional, and add a beneficiary of her husband. We'll say Carl's going to be that beneficiary for Dolly. So now we're keeping track of important information that may be random and doesn't have a place within the CRM. We're keeping track of a note on their record by pinning it to the top and making sure that their last client review notes are easily accessible. Or we're keeping track of who the important people are in their relationship with us as well. Because anytime they're making a financial decision, that might include their attorney or beneficiary, or a CPA or any of those other professional relationships that are factored into that decision. Going back over to Dolly Parton's main page here, there's a couple more items on her record I want to point out. And first would be keeping track of important information in the contact card, because in today's day and age, there are so many ways to contact everyone. It seems like home phones might be going away, but a lot of people tend to have home phones still. So many times there's multiple ways of calling someone, multiple ways of emailing someone, and they may even have multiple homes. Maybe they're in their home for the summer and they're home for the winter. There are so many ways to reach people nowadays. We want to make sure to specifically identify first how that person wants to be contacted, or what Redtail calls their preferred method of contact. And that would be, if you're going to contact a client, how do they want you to reach them? Do they want you to call them? Do they want you to text them? Do they want you to email them? Or do they prefer an old-fashioned letter in the mail if they need to be reached? And those are going to be, you can only have one preferred method of contact. On Dolly Parton's record, we can see that her email is bold, and so that is her preferred method of contact. If I go to edit, you can see that is preferred is selected here, and it is bold, which makes it stand out from the other methods of contact on her record. And then she also has a primary method of contact within each contact method as well. So, for example, she has multiple phone numbers. Work is not bolded, but mobile is bolded. So I know if I'm going to call her, I'm going to call her on the mobile phone number. But if I'm going to contact her at all, I'm going to email her at this email address. So important information can be, it's a wide range of what's important, but if your client specifies that they want to be contacted in a certain way, it is important to take note of that and contact them in the manner in which they requested, because then they're going to feel listened to, they're going to feel heard. And more importantly, if the reverse happens and you contact them via email when they preferred a phone call, they're going to feel unheard. And that's when clients start looking for other advisors or start being unhappy in that advisor-client relationship, which is something we don't want to happen. Everything we've gone over so far is important information for a specific client. There's one section I want to point out where if you're in a database of multiple users, or maybe you have offices in multiple locations, and you want to make everyone aware of something important within the database, but don't want to send an email, or maybe you want to add it in the CRM in addition to an email, there is a section for you to add a team notice or a notice to everyone in the database about something. And I'm going to point that out. It's on the Today page. And it's right here front and center under Team Notices. And this is available in every Redtail CRM. So what it is it's essentially like a sticky note on the Today page. It shows for all users, and it's a great place to put when the main advisor is on vacation or out of the office. We've got little funny sayings in here. The dog says squirrel, but then we have words to live by, such as, if it's not in Redtail, it never happened. If you have a big meeting coming up, this is a great place to put information about that big meeting, or maybe a large client is going to come in, or even more importantly, a large prospect. You really want to roll out the red carpet for them. Team notices will show on everyone's Today page and catch their attention. And anyone can enter team notices by going under your name to manage your account. And then manage team notices is going to show, it's the third option here, where you can come in here and add a new team notice. And when you're adding a team notice, you do have all of these editing options. You can even put a picture in there, make it bold. You saw, if it's not in Redtail, it never happened, is in large font and bold, so it just can't be missed when it pops up. So you have all those personalizable options here for that team notice. And that would be for database level important information. Upcoming clients, upcoming prospects, anything you want any user to know when they log in. So that wraps up important information in the database, how to keep track of where important items go on a contact record. If you have any additional questions about any of the features we've talked about in this webinar, feel free to reach out to our support team at 800-206-5030, option 3 for support, or email us at support@redtailtechnology.com as well. Thank you and have a great day.